Good morning, class. This is Tuesday, March 31st. This is your lesson for today for U.S. history. Just a reminder, I want to encourage you guys to make sure you are doing your quizzes every single day. If you're not doing your quizzes, you will fail. And if you don't do any of your work, you'll have to take summer school or have to take the grade over. So I want to encourage you every single day, make sure you're doing your lessons, make sure you're doing your quizzes. But this is the lesson for Tuesday, March 31st, U.S. history. So we'll review, and then we'll do some new notes. Still talking about Thomas Jefferson and the Barbary Pirates. First Barbary War. Letter A, characters involved: Thomas Jefferson, Yusuf Karamanli, and Commodore Barron. Three of the main characters. Pictures of three of them here. Thomas Jefferson, Yusuf Karamanli, and Commodore Barron. Stuff that's going on at the time: Napoleon was marching his troops into Austria, happened in 1800. The White House had just finished being built here in America, and the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. So a couple pictures of Napoleon marching his troops. This is a picture of the Austrian troops. The White House just finished being built, and the Louisiana Purchase happened, and Lewis and Clark made their expedition to explore the area of the Louisiana Purchase. Okay, events leading up to the war: Roman numeral II, a couple pictures of the naval battle. Many of the, 90% of the fighting was naval fighting, naval warfare. Events leading up to the war. Letter A, the Barbary States: Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, and Morocco. These are the four countries that made up what's called the Barbary States, or the Barbary Coast. They were pirating and kidnapping European ships. Of course, during the Revolutionary War, the American ships were protected by France's fleet due to the Treaty of Alliance. The United States wanted out of this treaty, though, with France because of what was going on with the French Revolution. So during the time of the American Revolutionary War, American ships were protected from these pirates. The pirates were attacking European ships, they were attacking American ships, they were attacking any ships in that area. They would steal the stuff on board, they would steal the ships, they would kidnap the sailors, just different things there. American ships were protected because of the Treaty of Alliance. After the war, after the American Revolution, the Americans wanted out of that treaty because of what was going on with the French Revolution. So here's a picture, map of the Barbary Coast, all of North Africa here, from the Strait of Gibraltar all the way down to about where Greece is. Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli, the four Barbary Coast states, four countries that were sponsoring these pirates that would go out and attack all of these vessels here in the Mediterranean Sea. This is a picture of the Treaty of Alliance. This is the treaty that was protecting the American vessels during the American Revolution, Revolutionary War. French Revolution going on in Europe a few years after that caused the Americans to want to be out of this treaty because of all the different political unrest, things that were going on in Europe. October 11, 1784, Moroccan pirates seized the brigantine Betsy. So here's a picture of the Betsy. Moroccan pirates seized this vessel October 11, 1784. Spain helped Thomas Jefferson, who was not the president yet, but he was U.S. Minister to France. Spain helped him negotiate the release of the ship and the sailors. So they had captured this vessel. They didn't destroy it, but they had captured the vessel, kidnapped the sailors, put them into slavery. Spain helped Thomas Jefferson, who was U.S. Minister of France. Spain helped them negotiate the release of the ship and sailors. This is a picture of the flag of Spain at the time. This is the American flag at the time. So Spain suggested to Thomas Jefferson and the Americans paying this tribute money to prevent the piracy. So this is what Spain and all the other European countries were doing, is they'd pay this ransom money, they'd pay this tribute money to these countries to prevent them from attacking their vessels. So the pirates would say, if you pay us this money, we won't attack your vessels and your ships will have safe passage. So Spain suggested doing the same with Morocco, which is only one of the four countries. But Morocco was the first Barbary Coast state to sign a treaty with the U.S., June 23rd, 1786. So after Thomas Jefferson negotiated the release of the ship and the sailors with the help of Spain, Spain suggested paying this tribute money, and Morocco becomes the first Barbary state to sign a treaty with the U.S. On June 23rd, 1786. July of 1785, Algeria captured 2 American vessels, the Maria and the Dauphin. So this happened in 1785. Algeria, another of the Barbary Coast countries, captures the Maria and the Dauphin. All 4 Barbary Coast states demanded $660,000 each, which is $15 million in today's money. So America sends over some envoys, but they were only given a total budget of $40,000, which is only $1 million in today's money, to negotiate the release of these 2 ships and the sailors on board. This is a picture, some pictures of American currency at the time. All right, new notes. Roman numeral 3, the calm before the storm. Calm before the storm. In 1795, 10 years later, so 10 years after the Maria and the Dauphin had been captured, 10 years later, Algeria released the 115 American sailors when the Treaty of Tripoli was signed. So 10 years, these 115 sailors had been in slavery in Algeria. And 10 years later, Algeria released these 115 American sailors when the Treaty of Tripoli was signed. So the Treaty of Tripoli was signed in 1795. The treaty agreed to pay the $60,000 a year in tribute. Number 1, the treaty agreed to pay the $60,000 a year in tribute, so $60,000 per year for Algeria. So this becomes the second state to sign a treaty with the Americans. Muslim countries were forcing the Americans into slavery. So these 115 American soldiers, as well as many other European soldiers and sailors, had been in slavery for 10 years. Muslim countries forced Americans into slavery. So 1795, 10 years after these ships were captured, Algeria released 115 American sailors that had been in slavery and captured when the Treaty of Tripoli was signed. The treaty had agreed to pay $60,000 a year in tribute to Algeria so that they wouldn't attack anymore. Muslim countries were forcing the Americans into slavery. So this is just a couple pictures of this American and European sailors in Algeria enslaved, some of them trying to escape. Approximately 1.25 million European and American slaves were enslaved over a 300-year period. Harsh conditions caused many to die. Treaties were concluded and American consuls were appointed in each Barbary state. So Tripoli and Tunis, 1796 and 1797, these treaties were signed. This is it in English, this is it in Arabic. The Treaty of Tripoli to release these sailors, these American sailors in 1796 and 1797. Very important, these consuls were appointed. We'll get back to that later, but treaties were concluded. American consuls were appointed in each Barbary state, almost like an embassy. They were put there in Tripoli and in Tunis. Letter D, 1798, the United States Navy was formed in direct response to the Barbary pirates. So this paying of this tribute money was getting too much for the Americans. So they formed the United States Navy, its own branch of the military. They formed it in 1798 in direct response to the Barbary pirates. It's a picture of sailors in 1798 when the Navy was formed. Some more vessels. But because of all the piracy and the kidnapping that was going on, and the Americans being forced to pay thousands of dollars in tribute money, in 1798 we decided to form our own Navy to help in direct response with these pirates. Okay, that is your lesson for today. Make sure you go over it now and take your quiz for today. Today is Tuesday, March 31st. Go over, take your quiz. Thank you.